Thursday morning, and I'm all packed up. Broke camp a little while ago and off to get some breakfast now and headed back to Houston. I'm going to pass through Lockhart State Park and then Palmetto State Park just to see what they're like and before going home. So, as you can see, the campsite is all taken down. If I can get this camera to get my big head out of the way. Okay, so that's where the tent was. And all packed up now. Bike is all loaded. Rain didn't start falling. Hasn't really started yet, so I'm glad for that anyway. I didn't have to break camp in the rain. But let's get the show on the road. Talk to you on the road. On the road to Lockhart State Park. Gonna get some breakfast on the way. So far the rain hasn't started, so I just got my rain pants on. Might as well be as cool as much as possible. 68 degrees right now. And it's kind of like, not drizzling, but it's heavy mist, I guess. It's just damp. And I can just feel a little bit of wetness in the air. Oh, look, some sheeps. Cool. Goodbye, Blanco State Park. This is the 32. Conditions have cleared up right away. Almost dry now. This is quite encouraging. Como County Line. Very pleasant. 70 degrees, a little bit damp, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take it over the hot, blazing sun. Although photography isn't, or videography isn't as good, but it is what it is. Some pretty sights up here. We're at 1232 feet. Fairly close to San Marcos right now, and maybe there's a breakfast place around. I don't mind if I have a late breakfast because I'm supposed to be going to dinner tonight with some friends at 7 o'clock, and that's kind of late for me. So I'll have a late breakfast and a late lunch, and that'll be just fine. Just had some breakfast at McDonald's. Now I'm riding on the Texas 80. Should be arriving at Lockhart State Park in about 18 minutes. Getting warmer. 75 degrees. Oh, the Garmin sent me onto this road called Political Road. I do have fastest route as the navigation choice, and this is interesting. This is called Political Road, and in 3.5 miles I have to turn left onto the State Park Road. So I got to ride this for 3.5. The road looks fine. Let's see how it goes. Off-roading with the RS.
Can't believe I'm doing this. Some nice farmland up there though. .2 of a mile left on this piece of crap. State Park Road is up ahead. I wonder how much time I saved on this fastest route. Because I drove the whole bloody 3.5 miles at 20 miles an hour. Thank you very much, Garmin. Whew. Well, after getting off of that dirt road, there was some pretty nice riding on this little road, little distance, 4.5 miles going to the Lockhart State Park, which is right there. So that's it, Lockhart State Park. Oh, there's a pool without any water in it. Cool. Alright, I'm out of here. Next stop is Palmetto State Park, I believe. Luling. This is Luling. Apparently, the town of Luling is an interesting little place. I saw this TV show, Road Tripper, and he did an episode of Luling. Kind of an interesting place to visit. Still riding through Luling. Kind of pretty little town. It's about an hour from San Antonio. San Marcos River. Oh, look at that. Gonna do some freeway riding for a little while, I-10, and then heading for Palmetto State Park. Palmetto State Park should be right ahead according to this, and so it is. Headquarters. That's Palmetto State Park, and we're gonna be heading home. Heading home via LaGrange. That's Palmetto State Park. Goodbye, Palmetto State Park. We're on the I-10 for a while, 27 miles. This is what I was talking about. Just a long convoy of these trucks, 18-wheelers, and the speed limit is 75 here, so everybody's doing 75 to 80. And right now, because there's a truck in the left lane, we're doing 71. But this is it. It's just a way to get from point A to point B. It's a major interstate highway all the way, I think all the way to California. Anyway, many states. I-10. So just wanted to show you a little bit of why I want to jump off and go to LaGrange and ride some more interesting farm country, more interesting roads, but only if it doesn't make my trip significantly longer. Well, for the first time in a couple of days, I put the windscreen in the lower position, and I'm getting good airflow right now. This really feels like a sport bike. I tell you, after riding so long in the uppermost position because it was cooler, and I wanted to block some of that cold air, and now I'm getting towards Houston, going east anyway, and I'm down to elevation of 390. Temperature right now is 83 degrees. Just got off to I-10, as you can see, and I'm supposed to take Highway 609, which hopefully will bring me to LaGrange. This is the 609 to LaGrange. Looks like some rain ahead. I don't know if I'll get it by the time I get to before I get to LaGrange. That's a pretty serious looking cloud up there. I've got maybe 10 more miles to LaGrange. I don't feel like getting wet. Not after all of this. Temperatures dropped a bit. Oh God. Not looking good. 9.2 miles. I think I should put on my wets as soon as I get a spot to stop. Wetsuits on. Hot as hell. Temperatures dropped. It was 85, now it's 77. So it's a good likelihood that some rain will be hitting me. I still have the prism out. That looks like some serious rain there, man. Oh boy. We'll see how much recording we can get on the way. .5 miles to Highway 71 branch. 9.1 miles to LaGrange. Now the Prism has a waterproof housing, but the waterproof housing is not really meant to go on the side of a helmet. The waterproof housing can go on the top of a helmet, but on the side of the helmet is not really conducive to that. So, plus it's kind of big and bulky. It does have a smaller frontal aspect ratio than the or frontal projected area than a GoPro, but it's still bigger than the actual the naked Prism. But the benefit is that it would be waterproof, so that would be a good thing. But like I said, you can't get it onto the side of the helmet so easily. I'm sure that you can probably cobble together some kind of a, some kind of a bracketing arrangement, but so far I haven't found the need. And besides, I don't know if I'll be sticking with this Prism for a heck of a lot longer, because the back door is partially broken, the bracket is broken. I mentioned that earlier on in the video at Blanco State Park. So at least with GoPro you can get brackets, you can get parts to buy. With the Sena equipment, not so easy. I was talking to the Sena technician, to Senatech Sport, or not, customer care support, I guess, and she wants me to return, even though it's out of warranty, she wants me to return the bracket for an exchange, and they'll give me a new bracket. Of course, they're not going to do anything. There's a rain up ahead. They're not going to do anything for the broken back door on the prism. So when I get tired enough and I can scrape together some more money, I'll probably be able to switch over to the GoPro. But one thing I do like about the prism is how it integrates beautifully with the 20S. And oh, the rain is up ahead. Integrates well with the 20S. I think I'm going to stop this now because I might have to pull this this camera off pretty darn soon. Well, passed through LaGrange. Didn't get to stop for lunch because it was pouring rain in there. Now I'm in Round Top. Just took off my jacket, my wet jacket. Still got the wet pants on, but at least I can ride in comfort now. Got the prism back on. And let's finish off this ride back to Houston. After clearing up a bit, I don't think I'll be encountering any more rain till I get home. So enjoy the ride, enjoy the cooling off. I tell you, putting on that rain suit really makes you warm. I remember in the ride to Arkansas in the spring of this year, I had no warm clothes. And the only thing I had was my rain suit, so I had to put that jacket on, and that really helped big time. It broke the wind, and it gave me some warmth anyway. It reflected the heat back onto my body, so I was quite okay. I didn't, I was able to continue on. All I had underneath was my a t-shirt and a jacket and my mesh jacket. I didn't have any kind of liner or anything in that, so I needed the rain jacket to keep me warm. And today, of course, made me hot. Temperature right now is still 77. Guess the rain must have cut some of that humidity, and so it's quite nice now. I'm just taking my time. I mean, I could have gone back on the I-10 and booted it back home. Probably I wouldn't have encountered any rain at all because looking on the, I think that the rain was just north in the LaGrange area, and where I wanted to get a less boring ride, and I decided to go through LaGrange. That's where I met up with the rain. This is the 2502 now, or the 290 east. This is Belleville. I'm going to stop and get a quick lunch at Whataburger. I've seen this ad for this chorizo something. I'm going to go in there and get one. La Quinta. Just left Whataburger, had a chorizo burger, and pretty good. Last leg now. Straight shot into Houston. 3:21 now. Estimated time of arrival 4:20. So 1 hour. I don't know what this person is doing, but I just want to say that this motocamping trip has been really good. Really had a good time, and I've got to do this more often. one thing that did come out, it's quite evident, is I got to get back into dehydrating my food. I don't like those store-bought packages of junk, boil in a bag type thing. I've never tried the Mountain House stuff. Some people buy it, but I refuse to pay $8 or whatever it costs for a meal. I'd rather, go out and eat for that kind of money. If I'm camping, I'm supposed to be doing it for a relatively inexpensive holiday. So that's the only thing I can say. Everything else was great. Camping this time reminded me that I gotta get tablecloth. I gotta get a few things, just a few small things to make the the experience next time a little bit better. But the Helinox cot, which was the prime reason for actually going on this trip, was to test that cot out. The Helinox cot was fantastic. I tell you, I've got two pieces of gear that they're expensive, but they're well worth every penny. The cot was like $300. I can't imagine, or I can't believe that I spent $300 on a cot. And but once you sleep on the thing, you realize, yeah, that's money well spent, because it's firm, it's sturdy, it evens out any terrain that you might be lying on. Who cares if there's bumps underneath? It's perfect. And I can actually take it apart, which I did inside the tent as I was breaking camp today. And I suspect I can put it together inside the tent as well. So it's really a great piece of kit. And the REI Flex Light chair that I've had for a few trips now, that's brilliant. Last night I was reading my magazine, Cycle World magazine, at the campsite after it went dark, and I was reading by headlight. I had a little headlight on my forehead, and I was sitting in my little Flex Light chair next to my picnic table, because picnic table is okay if you're going to sit down to eat, but it's got no backrest. My Flex Light chair, I've got a backrest. I can sit down, relax. I almost read the whole magazine there before getting really sleepy and having my shower and then trying to go to bed. There was some kind of a cow in the field. There's a farm next to the campground, and poor cow. Ever since yesterday, all through last night, and this morning, the cow was crying. I don't know what happened to this cow. I can't see the cow. The cow is off in the distance in the barn, but of course in the night you can hear the cow as clear as day. And I don't know if it was, if it had lost the calf, or if it was giving birth to a calf, or what happened, but poor cow was crying all night. But despite that, I managed to get a few hours of sleep. Nothing to do with the cot. The cot, I was very, very comfortable. The previous night on the cot, I had one of these, blow-up sleeping bag pads on top of the cot underneath my sleeping bag. And I was just a little too warm, and that pad had a little bit too much air in it, so I had to let out some air. You only want the barest minimum of air in one of those blow-up pads. And once I did that, I felt a lot more comfortable on top of the cot. Before that, I was kind of rolling all over the place on top of this stupid blow-up pad. But last night, it was cooler, and of course the pad was at the right inflation, and much better sleep. I was just thinking about all the stuff that I got to do the next day and worrying about breaking camp in the rain. I needn't have worried about that, because as it turned out, there was no rain last night. And this morning when I broke camp, it was cloudy, but and the finest of drizzles. I wouldn't even call it a drizzle. I would just call it mist. And so no hassles whatsoever. I don't even think that my tent fly is really wet, but when I get home I'm probably going to open it up and let it dry out because I don't want any mold in there. But I managed to go visit the two state parks, Lockhart State Park and Palmetto State Park, and like Blanco, I was impressed by Palmetto, even though they don't have full hookups except for that one campsite number 2, which is not the best campsite in the world. It's okay, I suppose, but the park has got other campsites that are nicer. But the thing about Palmetto is that it's got lots of trails. My wife likes to walk on the trails. It's got some snakes there, but just got to be careful. And so a really nice motor camping trip. Yesterday I went I went to Marble Falls, and I went on F1431, went on the twisties there, and went to Austin, had my buffet at Austin, saw the state capitol. I didn't stop and take any pictures. Lots of pictures out there in the web, but it was nice to get to Austin for the first time. I'm going to have to go back there and spend a dedicated time maybe in the city, maybe a couple of days in the city, and enjoy Austin a little bit more. But all in all, it was a really good trip, and I must say, as usual, the bike performed beautifully, continues to perform beautifully. Knock on wood. I'm not home yet, but right now I'm just cruising along on the 290 at 70 miles an hour. Temperature's 80 degrees. Humidity is probably around 60. Very comfortable. I got my screen down, so maybe a bit more noise on the vlog, but I'm getting good airflow. Bike performed well, as I said, and all the gear performed well. So really successful trip. That's all I got to say for now. Until I go motor camping again. This is the season for it here in southern Texas. I don't know when I'll be going again. Thanksgiving is next week, I believe. And if we do go anywhere, it'll be with the RV. And I'd like to go to Blanco again. But I've got some time off until after Thanksgiving. I've got some vacation time to take. So I'm going to be busy editing these videos, putting them up on YouTube, breaking them up into smaller pieces, of course, and looking forward to the next motor camping trip. Let's get out more motor camping as the season wears on. So until next time, until the next video. That's a nice river. Until the next video, see you around. Keep the shiny side up, stay safe on the roads, and talk to you later.